Hello, parents. I'm going to teach you a secret today. Something that you, I hope, don't keep a secret and tell everybody about. Because guess what? My name is Michelle Cox, and I'm a certified life coach for children and parents. I have something really valuable to teach you today. It's called the I'm safe, you're safe principle. When it comes to talking to your children about anything that could be a little bit sticky, tricky, maybe controversial, they don't like it, you feel stressed about, I don't know. But if you feel safe and your child feels safe, communication is open and things will go better. Okay, so I'm going to teach you this principle today. The beginning point is yourself. How can I make myself feel safe? This is the question I want parents to be asking themselves before they approach their child. How can you help yourself feel safe? In order to use this principle, you've got to understand your nervous system, because your nervous system is guiding all of your experiences. It's influencing all of your interaction with everybody, especially your children. Your nervous system is made up of three main components: your brain, your spinal column, and your nerves. And as you see in this diagram, the nerves go through your entire body, and they're carrying messages from your brain that have dictated whether you should feel safe or if you should feel like you're in danger. Deep inside your brain, there is a little almond-shaped piece, and actually I have two of them, one on each side. It's called the amygdala. And the amygdala is a special center in your brain that creates a sense of danger when your brain thinks that something could be a threat. So that amygdala will trigger and send a signal of warning to your whole body to prepare yourself to be able to defend yourself. If your amygdala is not triggered and your body is just humming along, everything's just moving like normal, you're in a state of safety. And this is where resilience takes place. So when you're in your zone of resilience, your nervous system is relaxed, you're able to think, you're able to reason, you're able to be teachable, you're able to evaluate whether something is a big deal or not, and you're able to discern what are people's facial expressions meaning or their tone of voice. And you'll be more likely to think that the other person is not threatening, so it won't be a big deal when you need to talk to them. However, if that amygdala says, this is a threat, then your brain and your body are now going to respond. Your nervous system shifts into the sympathetic nervous system, which means you go into fight, flight, or freeze. And in this diagram, you can see these three funny little brain images, and they are connected to some different emotions. Because when we're in fight mode, we're more likely to be angry, right? And more likely to be irritable or frustrated. When we're in flight mode, we're more likely to withdraw, to avoid, and become really hyper-vigilant that something bad is going to happen. We might be more reactive. And so our thinking and reasoning part of our brain really goes to sleep. It shuts down when we're in this survival state. So if we're going to approach our child, we've got to realize if we're in an angry state, or we're nervous and afraid and apprehensive and have anxiety about it, or we're just too scared to even talk to them, we're in freeze mode, we don't even move forward at all. This is going to affect how we communicate or not communicate with our child. As you can see here, this funny little diagram, we have an example of some eyeballs that are seeing a spider. Let's imagine a big hairy spider suddenly drops down from the ceiling and lands in your lap. You're going to have a reaction, right? Because you're not going to be, well, most of us aren't going to be excited about a big hairy spider dropping into our lap, right? And so our nervous system is going to immediately jump into action. And some of us might feel like we've got to fight that spider. We go into fight mode. We want to kill it. Or we might go into flight mode and we just try to jump up and brush it off and run away as fast as we can. Some people might be so afraid that they'll freeze up and they won't know what to do, and they will just be completely frozen and not do anything, maybe scream or even get quiet, but they can't move. Their body has shut down, and trying to keep them safe, thinking if I don't do anything, maybe it won't do anything. Is that the reaction we need to have for our children and how we're going to interact with them? Because your thoughts are going to affect you just like that giant hairy spider. The thinking that you're caring about yourself as a parent, or about substances, or about whether your child will listen or not, or if you can make any sort of difference, or how it's going to be having to set limits and rules and boundaries, whatever you're thinking is going to create how you feel. You'll either be more angry and reactive to your child, or you might be more withdrawn and anxious and just unsure and insecure about how to communicate your thoughts about substance use. Or you might freeze up and shut down and not say anything at all and leave your child to their own devices. What you think is how you feel. If you were to think, I don't know what to say, I don't think he'll listen to me, how do you feel? You might feel kind of hopeless or discouraged. You definitely don't feel confident, do you? However, if you thought, I love my child, it's my job to protect him, he is listening, how do you feel now? You probably feel that responsibility come and give you some encouragement that you have the power to make positive influence on your child. Your child still is going to make his or her decisions, but you can have a positive influence. You can have that power and that sense of confidence that you are doing your job and you have the right to bring it up and talk to them about substance use. So before you approach your child, make sure that you are making yourself safe with positive, empowering self-talk. Imagine yourself in that role of teaching and mentoring. Imagine your child is open and receptive. It gives you a sense of hope, it gives you more peace, and it gives you that confidence. Just imagine it, and you'll treat your child as if they were open, and they probably will be more likely to be open. So this is how your child's nervous system works too. They've got the brain, spinal cord, and all those nerves, just like you do, with thoughts and emotions working together. So how do I make my child safe? This is the other part of I'm safe, you're safe principle. Now, we cannot control our child's nervous system. We cannot force emotions on them. We can't force thoughts and beliefs on them either. But we can have a lot of influence. And let's take that opportunity. We can have a lot of influence in a bad way and have a lot of negative impact, but we also can have powerful, positive impact on our children. I want you to look at these diagrams, the next series of slides. Here we have a dad and a son sitting on a couch and they're talking. Imagine what this boy is thinking and feeling when he looks at his dad who's smiling, who's sitting with an open posture, and who's listening and engaging, showing respect. What do you think that child's amygdala is going to detect? Is it going to detect danger or safety when a parent is sitting in this posture? I would guess safety. Probably you do too. We have a universal sense of how we're interacting with someone. If they look open, if they're using a calm voice, if they have an open expression, they don't look angry, we're more likely to feel safe around that person. It's the same thing for your child. Take note of how you are positioning yourself. Now, in contrast, how do you think a child would feel in this scenario? Whoa! With an angry face and yelling and threatening or demanding, scolding, this is the only way or no way and you get out. Okay, parents, notice how you are approaching your child. For sure, a child is going to feel that they're in danger when a parent is approaching them this way. If you need to talk to your child about behavior they've already engaged in, again, coming at them angrily, threatening, accusing, doesn't help that child to feel safe enough to tell you the truth. We want truth. We want conversations that can actually lead to progress and to further open communication. So we've got to be aware of that. Communication shuts down in a threat response. When that child's amygdala is triggered and they go into fight, flight, or freeze, they're not going to listen as well. They're not going to learn as well. They're not going to be as open and receptive. So creating safety opens up that dialogue. having a chance for your child to just share what they think, even if you don't agree, let them talk, let them get it out. And then there's time for teaching and mentoring. So again, when a child's nervous system is in a state of safety, their parasympathetic nervous system is activated. They're open, they're teachable, they're trusting, honest, reliable, responsible, and careful. And then they're more likely to trust you when you are teaching them that substances like alcohol, drugs, tobacco, vapes are dangerous to them. It'll help to train their brain to look at those substances as something dangerous and to avoid. What is the draw anyway? Why are children and youth even attracted to possibly using harmful substances? Because of dopamine. And maybe you've heard of dopamine. It gets a lot of attention lately. Dopamine is a neurochemical that our brain releases when we've had a pleasurable experience. For some reason, dopamine is going to be triggered off when someone uses alcohol, tobacco, drugs, or vaping. It's triggering the pleasure center of the brain. So dopamine is sent out in a big concentrated rush. And the body is going to respond to it. And the brain is like, let's do this again, right? So drugs, alcohol, tobacco, vapes, they can trigger this intense dopamine rush in the brain. So I want us to avoid giving dopamine a totally bad rap, because dopamine is natural and normal, and it's important to have dopamine as part of our experience as human beings. It's not the only chemical, though, in our brain that helps us to have these happy, good feelings. So if you look at this chart, we also have serotonin, which is a mood stabilizer. We also have oxytocin, which we call the love hormone, and endorphin, which is a painkiller, helps us to withstand pain and to move forward and move through it. So oxytocin is really important because we get that rush when we have physical affection, when we have meaningful conversations, when we can give someone a hug, someone puts their arm around us, or we do something nice for someone or they do it for us. We get that oxytocin release, which is a way to build a relationship and bond. So if dopamine's not all bad, then what's the catch? The catch is that dopamine never leaves you feeling satisfied. It leaves you wanting more. And so when you are using a substance that's very harmful for your body, that can damage your brain, influence your relationships in a negative way, even cause you to behave very badly, violently, dangerously, then we don't want to have more of that. So which happy chemical will bring more fulfillment and longer satisfaction and more sense of safety than dopamine? Oxytocin. Like I was saying before, oxytocin is the one that builds relationships. Sitting down together, reading a book to your child, watching a movie together and laughing, playing board games, going for walks, going to the zoo, having moments of memories and showing that you care and you're making your child a priority in your life, your child is going to experience oxytocin, and so will you. Your kids need your attention and affection to feel safe. So think about how you can improve your day-to-day interaction with your child so that when the time comes to talk about substance use, there's already that trust. There's already that belief that you care and you have your child's best interest at the forefront of your mind. Here are some tips for talking about substance use with your child. Number 1, know the facts beforehand. Really be aware of what the statistics are. ADAC is a wonderful resource. They can provide so much information about what is current in your particular area and show you what the trends are, how youth are being affected by vapes and smoking and drug use, all the different facets of substance abuse. Approach your child with curiosity, not suspicion. They'll be able to tell that difference. If you assume the best of your child, even if you actually have some evidence, but maybe there's something more to find out, maybe it's somebody else's vape you found, still you don't want your child to have a vape in their backpack. But be curious about it instead of coming at them with accusations and an accusatory tone. Number 3, ask what they already know. Ask them what they know about how drugs will affect their body, how alcohol could impair their decision making, and how vaping can cause cancer and many different illnesses, just like smoking a cigarette can. Ask what their concerns are. Do they have concerns? Are they noticing things at school that they feel worried about and uncomfortable? And if they see that you are open and you're safe, you're willing to listen, they're going to share so much more with you. And be direct about your concerns. Why is it that you don't want your child to use substances? What is it that you're concerned about? Let them know. Be sincere about it. Always express love and compassion. They're hearing all kinds of messaging that is harmful and inaccurate. So understanding that they're hearing false information, they're looking at their peers, thinking that what they're doing is cool, and they want to be accepted. Having compassion for your child being kind of stuck in a difficult situation can help you to feel safe and be more open to hearing their concerns and being less reactive or angry. Number 7, be clear about boundaries and consequences. So they understand that you as the parent, you're the guardian of the home. You get to decide what comes in and out of that house. You get to decide and say, nope, we just absolutely won't have any vapes here. And here's the consequence. All of your friends are going to have to leave that stuff at home, in their car, wherever else, but they can't come into our home. So you can talk about that. You could even discuss what kind of boundaries you want to set with the kids that they hang out with. If you know there are children getting into trouble, then you can have that conversation that, I'm sorry, you can't spend time with them. Make a plan if substances are already being used. This is a great opportunity also to reach out to ADAC because they will provide opportunities for parents to learn how to talk to their child and how to get them help when they have been using substances. And number 9, continue to build connection. Always look for ways to help your child feel that they are valuable to you and that their feelings are valid, their thoughts are valid. They need to be able to have open opportunity for expression. So here's the good news. The stronger the connection you have with your child, the more sturdy you are and the more you're able to kind of ebb and flow with the changes of life, with different challenges that come, your child knows that you're going to be consistent and reliable, then the more likely they are to turn to you to get oxytocin instead of to substances to get dopamine. The more likely they are to trust your judgment, to trust your counsel and your mentorship. But that also has to include you taking a careful look at your own practices. Are you turning to substances instead of healthy outlets when you're stressed or frustrated or depressed or grieving? There are other healthy ways that you can manage your own experiences without turning to substances, and the more you can teach that to your children by your own example, the more powerful your mentorship is to your child. Looking for opportunities every day to build connection with your child will make all the difference. Thank you for listening. If you have any other questions, reach out. You can reach me through Facebook. You can scan that QR code and go right to my Facebook page. You can also reach me through my website, michellecoxmindset.com. Thanks so much and have a great night.